What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. Today, we are back to our regularly scheduled VOD review programming, but I appreciate all the positive feedback I got on the last video. I had a lot of people coming into my stream being like, hey, I really enjoyed this video. So if you guys missed my last video about how to hit Challenger in set 18, definitely go check it out. And somebody who probably does not need that advice is Wasianiverson. He has... We did some reviews where he was like... He was up and down on the PBE, the Project PBE ladder. I think mostly because he's Wasianiverson. He's like limit testing stuff. He's trying stuff out. Not like Wasianiverson is struggling to climb. But recently he's been doing very well. Rank 20 here. And I think he's sitting at about like rank 10-ish right now. So has been doing very well on the ladder. So I thought, let's go back, watch some Wasianiverson. And he is also playing on the new patch. And so... a big patch dropped today. This is going to be one of the last like really big patches in PBE. And so I wanted to VOD review on this new patch now that we're here. So we have, I mean, a Yunar opener and actually great items for it. Yunar did get nerfed pretty decently hard in the most recent PBE patch. So we'll see if he wants to angle towards that. Definitely, you know, items-wise, they look nice for this. He can make a Shojin and be quite happy with it. First augment here, he rerolls immediately early learnings because he doesn't really have a spot to play it. Worth the wait, solid. Pandora is definitely solid if you want to play towards it. I am a time skip lover. I think this augment is just crazy. I mean, wait 3 rounds and get 32 gold in XP, but honestly, it's not even that much worse than gold, as we'll yap about if he does take it. I'd be excited to look at time skip here. We aren't making econ yet, which is the one thing that, like, you know, ideally you've like made your first 10 and then you take time skip and then it's just like GG's. But we will see. Warpath as well. I don't think his board's quite strong enough for it. And yeah, he's gonna skip the time here. So what do I mean when I say that, you know, time skip, it's 32 gold, but it's not gold, but it is gold? Well, okay, so there's kind of a fundamental idea in TFT that like obviously EXP is worse than gold, because if you had the gold, you could just turn that into EXP, or you could make interest with it, you could roll with it, you could buy charms with it, you could buy units with it. So obviously, like, if you had the choice of 32 gold or 32 EXP, you would obviously always choose 32 gold. So that means this is valued a little bit less than 32 gold. However, I do think the fact that it just gives you that immediate like giga tempo influx of just leveling you straight to 6, you actually get a lot of value out of this XP when you know, get through your first 3 fights. Is just immediately shooting up to level 6 and then having level 7 be not too far away. I actually do like this augment a lot, and I'm not surprised that Wasianiverson wants to go for it this game, especially because he had, you know, some other good options, but he ended up taking this time skip in this spot. Only slight awkwardness of it is that we don't have a very good level 4, so we're just gonna have to chill on this board. The other obvious awkward thing is that you lose your first charm and actually your second as well. So you do get a little bit less, like, obviously like Wisp value, but I think it's a very reasonable price to pay. Rotate into Degree here, who is playing our League Coven opener, so we can check back in on... This is a stacked lobby, by the way. What the fuck? The Ego Jungle Book? Oh my god. Ego Jungle Book, Bosso, Degree? I mean, this is like an NA or like America's Regionals lobby with a couple of people who I'm not familiar with. That is wild, but that's Project PBE. The Project PBE major is happening this weekend, by the way, with all of these players battling it out. I imagine I'm going to be commentating it with Kai. I always do. He hasn't asked me to do it yet, so maybe he hates me, but like usually he asks me like literally like the day before. So like I assume I'll be commentating this weekend on Saturday. So come check me out while we commentate. It should be... I'm so excited. I love Project PB. It's one of my favorite events. I mean, definitely my favorite PBE events, just because you get to see all this stuff. And the other thing to talk about is that the meta is starting to really settle. We had this big patch today, which is going to shake things up a bit. We have like a medium patch, I think, coming tomorrow. And then they're going to try to basically let it sit for like a week until PBE goes live. So we're going to have a ton of time to grind out on PBE and get good prep in for live, which is really valuable to hit the ground running, especially when live starts. I mean, hey, all this stuff I talked about in the last video, definitely applicable there. So I have a kind of just glazed over this early game. I mean, it's been a fine... I will say, I am not the biggest fan of Yunar in the early game. I think this unit just doesn't do that much damage, especially after her nerf. And you can see we are in just this kind of mixed streak world. Also, stuff like this can happen where she dashes to her death. So we are just going to have a very, very mixed streak this stage, which is not ideal. This guy is also, I don't know how, oh my God, Warpath got to Wit's End, probably off Artifactinate, and just as a Wit's End Warwick 2. They did nerf Artifactinate, which I'm happy with. They nerfed it and made it 2 gold instead of free, which I think is a very good change. They also made it a bit more rare, so you're not going to see it as often, which I think is a good call. I mean, from Wasian's perspective, this is going to be our board for the near future, and the only question is, where do we go from here? We have the Shojin Maid. We took this bow here. Like, what do we actually want to play this game? We're going to fit Blossom in on this board, which fits pretty nicely with this board, and also just allows us to, get those upgraded charms, which are so important. We could easily slam a JG here and then just, be guaranteed AP itemization, and we will. I think this makes a lot of sense. This can play neatly into Ahri. The only thing is the bow is pretty dead in Ahri. Nashers would normally be good, but not really with Shojin. It's going to kind of have to be Void Staff GS on this Ahri unit. Bleh, I do not like it very much, but we'll see. We'll see where Wasianiverson wants to go from here, especially in still a pretty good spot. And this is what I'm talking about. He's already 12 XP pre-leveled. Spreading Roots, I like it. There's a lot of lines that you can play from this spot. Just good in general. And wow, we get an Elderwood emblem and a Hunter emblem. I mean, definitely Elderwood, not bad at all. You can think about just playing 5 Elderwood here. I am maybe a greedy fool. I would almost consider leveling here. He's going to reroll this one just because, yeah, not much we can do with Hunter. We get Ravager, going to reroll that again and reroll back into Hunter. So I guess we have to live with Hunter for now. Is it just me, by the way? I know a lot of people complained about this in like last set or like previous sets where like sometimes you would like reroll an emblem and it would like turn into something and then you reroll it and then it would turn back. But like, I feel like this is happening like way more this set, but like maybe that's just fake news. Like, I mean, it definitely could be. LeBlanc 2 is huge. The upgraded charm is huge as well. So now we can just level up here and be in a really good spot. It wasn't even the upgraded charm now I think about it, but it's, I mean, still 10 XP, pretty good here, which just lets us push to 7. And now Wasian has to figure out what he's going to play from this spot with this Elderwood spot, because there's a lot of Elderwood boards that you can play. There's some Elderwood Fast 9 boards. Normally, Elderwood is not really very much played as like a level 8 stabilization comp, just because I don't think there's enough there truly to build a nice level 8 board. It is one of these like verticals where you get a lot of power, but you're playing a lot of, pardon my language, but shitters. They're just like a lot of units that you throw in on this Elderwood board that are, am I really, wow, I'm going to play an Ornn 2 late game. And, I mean, Hecarim's a great unit, but even like LeBlanc 2 late game is really not doing very much. Alistar 2 is honestly pretty solid, but a lot of the backliner units, I mean, Zaya 2 are really going to play that back at the end of the game, like hopefully not. So with that being said, you normally don't see people playing, say, 7 Elderwood. But with the emblem, I definitely think it's a lot more realistic to get to something like a 7 Elderwood. It is really nice tempo. This is very much like a tempo check type comp where you want to just get to a very strong but cheap board. That is what tempo can be in this spot is, okay, I'm level 8 and I have 7 Elderwood in and my board is really cheap. I have a lot of 1 costs on it, or 1 starred units, but the upside is, well, this is exactly what I need, is a cheap way to spike my board if I am like tempoing trying to win streak. And so that I think is what Wasianiverson wants to go for this game. And hey, we've won 3 fights so far on stage 3. Hopefully we can get this to be another fight win so we can end it with a 4 streak, though. We do rotate into this very, very, very scary Warwick board, so we will see. The Hecarim's going to stun, but I don't know if it's enough. I'm surprised that Wasian keeps positioning his other tree like this, because I'm pretty sure he just straight up lost, unless the tree actually... Okay, maybe I'm going to eat my words. Oh my god. Okay, but he definitely almost lost this fight because this tree is just like all the way on the left here. Like, I don't know. I want to watch more fights because I always put my trees closer to the middle because I'm afraid of exactly this happening, where they just bypass your trees and then your tree's like your last unit alive and then you lose the fight. But we shall see what Mr. Iverson wants to go for here. Rest of his items. So he does have ends up, like making the Nashor's Tooth here, which does mean that you're just in this kind of like Giga Caster setup, but We'll see. What I'm looking at this board right now, I feel like it lacks damage. I think the idea is that Shojin's gonna move to Ezreal, and I think we're just gonna do that right now. Yeah, the idea is we can Shojin Ezreal. We don't have to worry so much about having that Shojin Nashor's combination. We can finish Guardbreaker here and then make Gargoyle with our leftover items. We'll say Gargoyle is probably one of the worst tank items in this line, just because you have so many other frontliners who are gonna take aggro. But a tank item's a tank item. He wants to keep his win streak here, and sadly, we are still going to lose it even with that. He could have actually leveled this round. It was on interval because of the other thingy. I'm not sure if he realized that or not. Low genuinely, we could be an explosive growth. Ooh, it could also be a nature's shelter gain. Everybody next to the plants gains 15 AS and 2% max HP regen. Ooh, we get a Taric there as well. Okay. The other nice thing about that is it did upgrade some of our units. Now we have Alistar too that we can play around. And yeah, we are just... Wow, we're really being chilling. We're not even going to level here just because he wants to maximize his econ as much as possible. Okay, so we will sit for at least another round here on this board. I will say this LeBlanc unit I feel like does punch above her weight class, especially as a unit that has econ built into her as well. I feel like she always is doing like pretty good damage. Obviously, she's not going to be a huge standout on stage 4, but I mean, you can even see this fight. Yeah, 9,000 damage from a LeBlanc too. In a long fight, but I mean, still very nice. Wow, we naturally Ezreal too, which is great, and we get to level for the 7 Elderwood. This is a big buff to the trait. Adds a lot of damage. The Sentinel is actually, or I don't know what they call this because Sentinel is what the unit is called, but the blue buff type thing that's sitting on this board, Nature's guy, is actually a damage dealer, and kind of like likes when your other Elderwood units die or your other Elderwood like structures die. So that is the idea here, and you can see it just sitting there. Like 3k damage is very respectable for a summon trait, especially when getting more Elderwood is buffing the rest of the board. We also have like more room to buff up the rest of the board by hitting upgraded units. So honestly, most of our units are upgraded here. So honestly, we're about as strong as we're gonna get for 7 Elderwood, but still, it's pretty good. Gonna pick up Glove here, trying to go for Ezreal items, right? We need to get to like an IE or even like a Guardbreaker or something if we want to just stay in Executioner and not have to worry about making IE. We do have the Guardbreaker here. Now that I think about it, I'm kind of surprised that he didn't move it over. Because like we could Guardbreaker the Ezreal here. I think his idea is that like the Hunter Spat is not really an amazing item onto him right now. So it's probably better to stay the 3-item LeBlanc, which is crazy, but I could see it. We did also obviously get the Ashe off Carousel, which is very nice. Means that we might be able to, down the line level for Ashe. This player is a good +1 unit on this board who also, activates Hunter here. Ezreal does end up out-damaging LeBlanc this fight, though obviously he lived a lot longer. Wow, that is a good one. 3% damage amp for every 10 gold, so we get 21% damage amp onto our entire board. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I don't mind that. It's honestly like not like... for 70 gold, I would expect it to be a little bit higher, but like, I think they just don't want it to be like, okay, you get 100 gold and you just like win every fight with this. So I guess fair enough. And 21 damage amp is still like, is still pretty good on your board in terms of combat power. It's just like, yeah, I would think it would be like a little bit higher here, but it's fine. It's fine. Ezreal does clean up the fight, another most damage dealt Ezreal fight. And I mean, this is what we were talking about, right? Is the tempo that 7 Elderwood provides is that like we've hit all of these upgrades. Our board doesn't really have like if we play this board stage 5, we're going to take a lot of damage, but it was good enough for stage 4. And this is going to get us to level 9, which is what you want out of this Vertical Elderwood board. You do not want to get stuck on 8. This is why he even considered taking an econ augment on 4 too. But he really wants to go 9 and cap out this board with stuff like, I mean, we have potential Ashe 2 here. I don't think Inferno Lux does too much here. Obviously, the Fiddlesticks is a great trait bot on this board. And oh my god, we find Elderwood Lux and he snaps it off here. Ooh, there's a Gnar as well that we need to pick up. Okay, so Ezreal items can finish out. He's going to make LW, interestingly enough. Finish this here, and then going to be forced to make QSS here, which ends up on the Xayah, which is kind of funny. Wow. So I think he just really values getting some armor shred onto this board. I mean, Ezreal, it's also a crit item onto Ez, which is not bad. We don't have another like AD source of... Did he not pick up the Gnar there? He definitely did not. Okay, I think he just... It was kind of an oversight here because I'm sure we would like to play the Gnar down the line here, but okay. And it also does look like... Well, I mean, he gets the Fiddlesticks in. So the idea here, by the way, obviously... Fiddlesticks plus Soraka, beautiful synergies on this board, right? Activates Flora Fatalis, Defender, Executioner, Spell. I mean, literally all of our synergies right now are from these two units. So I mean, it's very easy to just play those and get a ton of really, really nice traits on this board on level 9, right? We're level 9 with 9 Elderwood in with the spat and then the +1 from the Lux here. So it makes a lot of sense as a way to cap out your board. I'm curious if he does eventually want to cut some stuff here. I mean, I do think Soraka's a great carry to play around here. Definitely the better AP carry compared to what we were playing. And then the QSS is going to go down here. Still is just going to go into the LeBlanc. I'm kind of surprised he doesn't want it onto the Lux here just for the extra tank stats. But honestly, they've nerfed the Lux effect a lot. I think it's, what, 2.5% max HP on your board now, which is like, is that worth an entire item when you could throw these onto LeBlanc and she'll actually do pretty good damage? So kind of crazy, but we turned this from a, you know, like a tempo idea of like a be strong on stage 4 to a tempo stage 5, where now we're level 9, still a pretty broke 9 is the idea. It's like, because we're tempoing this stuff, we are quite broke when we are doing these levels, but it doesn't matter because we are getting a ton of board strength out of this. And you can see as well in the way that Wasian is rolling every single round for a charm here, even though we're on you know, like a win streak here, you could maybe say, we could chill out, you know, maybe lose some fights, but then have some extra econ to play the game with. No, like we want to win every single fight we can, because we know like this is when we are strongest, and every single round that passes, we are getting weaker because the rest of the lobby is capping out into these like very, very strong. I mean, this guy, you know, KL3 trying to hit all of their 3 stars, or somebody going, you know, fast 9, fast 10. And so winning every fight here is of the utmost importance, because not only is this going to obviously allow us to save HP and guarantee a top 4 placement, but it's also going to allow us to be strong when we should be strong, which is going to allow us to even potentially keep this streak up and then maybe cap even higher. I think 10 is pretty far away, but maybe could be a pipe dream. To be fair, there's not much to roll for at this point. We don't have the Gnar, but he'll eventually come back. We could find Lux too, but like, okay, who cares that much about Lux too? Like it's really not. There's not that much to roll for on 9 here. The question is just like, is it feasible to go 10 here? Also, oh my god. Oh, that was actually almost a heroic effort from the Elderwood guy, from the Deepwood Protector with the Forest Smash. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, that would be a good TFT Jeopardy question. Dude, pencil that in for 500 TFT. Well, it's already over for the set, unless Dora Waza wants to do another TFT Jeopardy. But the Forest Smash, say what unit has this name as their ability, and it's the Protector. That'd be cool. Okay, so we end up here on this setup. Oh, this is so hilarious. So we get the charm that gives us the extra like emblem of a trait that we already have here. This allows us to fit the Tark 2 in and still fit 9 Elderwood in. I imagine our game plan is going to be to drop out of 9 Elderwood after this, but we will see. But I mean, getting to play this for an extra round, I mean, this was huge. This was really, really nice for us in this spot here. And yeah, the question is, what does our next round look like here? Because obviously we're dropping to 8 Elderwood in this spot here. He does kind of... He could also drop out of the Fiddlesticks, right? And then lose, you know, Defender and Flora Fatalis and Spellweaver. And looks like that is going to be his game plan. Okay, so he does really value the 9 Elderwood, even with the quote-unquote, like, shitters on the board. You know, we're playing, like, random LeBlanc 2 on this board. But he just values, I mean, once again, the tempo of it. Because, like, how much gold do we have? Like, if we hit another 2-star 5 cost, sure, maybe we can start cutting stuff. But, like, we don't really have enough gold to get out of this here. And, like, doesn't matter. We're going to win the fight just tempoing straight to a win. I mean, it's crazy, but it makes sense. I think that's good, right? You have a lot of tanks on this board, like, because it counts the trees as well. At least it should, because they are technically tanks as well. So this is looking good. And yeah, 9 Elderwood just clearing. Doesn't even have to pivot down, because I mean, he's got the spat and he's got the Tarek too. And I mean, why would you? Why would you here? We are dealing with our arch nemesis here, the player who delivered us a loss in stage 2. We'll see if we can get through that. Warwick, we do. Tarek, hold the line. I think we're chilling. Don't want to jinx it. But yep, that is the dub for Wasianiverson. Just a beautifully played game, Vertical Elderwood. Just showed exactly how you should play around Vertical Elderwood, is just use this, level aggressively, get the power spikes from it, and just be strong when you need to be, and I mean, take the placement from there. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch, my Metafy. I'll make the links down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. As always, I always say that twice. Fuck.